Welcome and/or welcome back to the channel. My name is Sarah and this is a double Friday reads for last week and this week. So last week I had every intention of posting, but the end of the week last week was absolute chaos here at our house. Just bad days, bad things, all sorts of stuff. Everything is settled now. We're back to normal. But it took a couple of days, and honestly, in that couple of days, I didn't read very much, so this actually shouldn't be too long of a Friday reads, all things considered. Now, I do not remember if I talked about Archangel's Storm by Nalini Singh. I did finish it last week. I don't remember if I talked about it in my previous Friday reads, but I will say that I finished it and I did really like it. It is the fifth Guild Hunters book. I really like seeing like Jason's powers and the fight between Neha and, I'm not gonna say a name for spoilers. So if I didn't talk about it, I liked it. If I did talk about it, I'm not gonna talk about it more just so we don't repeat ourselves. But I also finished A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner. Now I had an arc of this. It's coming out from Poison Pen Press, but it was originally an indie book and I had tried to read it as an indie and I DNF'd it. I finished it this time. I didn't love it. So, I was kind of right on the money on the first DNF because if you'll notice, I don't talk about DNFs often, mostly because if I don't like something, I will put it down. I am of the opinion that if there is too many books in the world that I want to read, that if I don't enjoy reading something, even if I was excited about it, I'm going to put it down. That's just me. I know other people don't think that way, but I put this down, but I had already submitted an arc request because I was so excited about it. It just didn't work out. This one, I believe I gave a summary last week, but basically this young woman is a baker. She has no magic in a world where there is a lot of magic, and she's a baker and she gets entered into this baking competition. She doesn't want to go. She doesn't think she should go, and her entire personality is that one, she's an orphan, and two, orphan, her parents died, so she considers herself an orphan, and two, she has no magic. And she makes it sound as if not having magic in this world is a huge handicap. Everyone will hate her, everyone will look down on her, and it leaves her without any other recourse. But ultimately, it seemed to be something entirely in her own mind. There is one person at the beginning of the novel who will not let her have a good stall at the market to sell her baked goods at because he dislikes her for whatever reason. It's insinuated that it's magicless. I can't remember if he ever actually says that she's magicless, but that's the one person who gave a damn. And no one else seemed to give a damn. But she did. Her entire monologue was how much she didn't have magic and how that ruins her life. I don't know. She is what I like to call a disaster character. And these are characters like this who have a hang up, they have a problem, but they refuse to do anything about it, or they try to be something more. She is her problem. That's what she is. She is magicless, and so that is her defining feature. And it's just, man, if I had that attitude, bro, I'd get nowhere. I don't like that type of character. So I didn't enjoy this. There is a romance. It's entirely predictable. You can see it coming. The only thing I really liked about this was I liked the side characters, and I always love a richly fantasy world. So we had dwarves and elves and we had fox people. I love that stuff. I adore that stuff. I just could not stand our main character. Oh my God, I wanted to slap her. So I gave it 2 stars. If you like disaster characters, I love that for you. They are not for me. This one wasn't for me. I really needed a palate cleanse at that point, so I picked up, let me get it, Junji Ito's newest one, Liminal Zone 2, which is a classic. Like, he is the horror manga writer, right? Writer. He has a fantastic, very unique and recognizable style, and this is more of his short stories. These are my favorite of his things. I love his short story work. He has some larger meta plot stuff, like Tomie has a little bit of a through plot through it, but Uzumaki recently turned into an anime that I don't recommend. There was, Gyo? I love that one too. So he does have some larger meta plots, but my favorite work of his is the shorter works, and this has the shorter works. There's a couple in here, I think, actually, that tie to other collections and other stories. So we have, a couple of interconnected stories. They all read great separately. I love Junji Ito. If you don't like Junji Ito, that's all right. This one's not going to be for you. But if you want to try Junji Ito or you like his other work, fantastic book. Can't recommend it enough. It's just a sweet spot for me. I love his work. So that was a palate cleanse after Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. And then I finally bit the bullet and I finished the big boy, The Witch of Whispervale by R.A. Salvatore. This was a lot. I have a lot to say about this. I'm going to try and make it concise. This continues on the story that we sort of, in a roundabout way, that we get in the Buccaneers, in the first Buccaneers book, Penquickle's Folly. So in Penquickle's Folly, we are about 30 years out from this treaty that stopped the golden-skinned Zokanai from basically taking over the entire world. They are in the Demon Wars. Their god is a demon in disguise. He is commanding the troops. They are fighting another demon god, and they are sweeping down and trying to take over the world in the process. Demon Wars, that is stopped, and a treaty is made so that there is peace with the races. In Penquickle's Folly, we start to see the cracks of that, right? The treaty is crumbling. The Zokanai are starting to get braver and bolder. They're trying to bring down more power, and you're like, what's going on? Why are they doing this? We get the answer here, and we get more of the world here. In the first book, we are following buccaneers, essentially pirates, and we start to see the cracks in the way that shipments are moving, the way the pirates are being attacked and stuff, and we follow a Zokanai character as she comes to realize her people are wrong, what's going on is wrong, and she is on the cover of the book. If you look it up, you will see her there. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved it. This is equally as fantastic, but heavier. So that one is a lot more lighthearted. There are some heavy and dark scenes in it. I mean, we watch a woman's arm get ripped off, but in this one, we see a lot more heaviness. And Salvatore is really good for me, but I have grown up reading his writing of sprinkling in the heaviness, but then we always somehow have a note of hope there. And in this one, that is the case. So this one is heavier than the first one. And this one, we see a lot more of the characters and the politics and stuff that were in Demon's War, the original 6 books. The first book, we didn't have that so much. It's a great jumping in point, I think, for new readers. But the second book, you are going to meet a lot of characters that were from the Demon's War saga, and it does a good job of introducing them on their own. But if you haven't read the Demon War saga, you're probably going to want to know who they are and where they're from and stuff, and I would recommend picking up that series. I plan to reread that series before the third book and this comes out. We'll see how it goes. I really want to. I have the first one upstairs in a new trade edition, so we'll see. But this has a lot more returning characters. I am not going to spoil exactly who, but the actual plot of this follows, she goes by Carrie? Yeah, I think she goes by Carrie in this, who is a returning character from Demon Wars. Again, not going to say who. You might, from context, be able to figure that out. She is trying to establish a peaceful life. She was a key player in the Demon Wars saga books, big key player, and she wants to leave that life of violence and death behind. And she is trying to make a quiet, peaceful life for herself, her wife. I don't know if they're legally married. Her partner, her girlfriend, whatever. They live together in this little town. Her partner is also a survivor of a big war event that we see in Demon Wars. We met her, I believe, briefly in the Demon Wars saga books, but they are trying to have a peaceful life. Carrie has a son with another character who is a friend and visits. He is integral to the plot, and they have adopted 2 boys. But war is coming, and it comes to their town. Some terrible things happen to one of their kids, and the other 2 are sent off. They are conscripted, and Carrie has to deal with the fact that she cannot just sit by. She has an immense wealth of power within her. She has incredible capabilities, and fight as she might to be a peaceful person, she has to come to the realization that she needs to be otherwise. And this book is basically her journey. And this book technically takes place around the same time, as Penquickle's Folly, and the ending of this brings us to the ending of Folly, and we see her meet with the crew and how those 2 stories connect, and we see moving forward, hopefully, I I hope we'll see the third book will take up there where they all set off together. Highly recommend. Highly recommend the series. It's dark. He doesn't shy away from that in this. There was a scene where an elderly woman was being hanged, and it was just, that enough is bad, but the other things happened in that moment. Just some of this stuff was bad, was a lot. So go in, eyes open wide. It's a lot, but fantastic. I am very excited to get to the next book when it comes out next year. I also would recommend the audiobooks. I listened to the first one almost entirely on audio. I listened to part of this one on audio, and the narrator's fantastic. I just read much quicker when I'm reading electronically, like on my Kindle or physically. So I kept jumping back into the actual books because I was like, oh my God, I have to know what's happening. So highly recommend. If you are a returning fan for this world, definitely recommend. If you are new, consider picking up the first series. It's 2 trilogies back to back, and they used to they're shorter. They were all little mass market paperbacks. They're not super long reads, but I do think perhaps you need to have read them or read summaries. There's that. The next one that I read was an ebook. I read the e-arc kind of accidentally because I thought it was coming out sooner than it was, of Automatic Noodle by Annalee Newitz, another fantastic one. I really like this, which is funny because I have historically disliked some of their work in the past, but this one was great. It's a short novella about a set of robots, AI bots who wake up their little noodle, it wasn't a noodle shop before, it was just a general food shop. It's been abandoned. They have been turned off because their parent company is kind of a scam company and it has gotten into trouble. So they have not liquidated their assets, but they have turned them off so they're not draining. So these AI bots decide, well, dang, they're under contract. They owe money to places. They're working in one of them is working in this sort of like indentured servitude sort of setup to a different company. They need to make money to survive. They don't want to be turned off and disconnected from the network because to an AI, that's a death sentence. So they decide to reopen the shop. They finagle a way through one of the contract bots to make it look as if they are a contracting firm running this shop, and they begin to sell noodles, and they sell a very specific type of noodles, and they learn how to make them really well, and it's their evolution. It was fantastic. It's short and it has this vibrancy to the world and the writing that just really stuck to me. I started it on a whim and I couldn't put it down. I really ate it up, pun intended. It was a good one. I absolutely say give it a shot if you want to when it comes out. Again, it's a novella, and I know that these are a little overpriced, but I would say pick it up from the library or something if you want to try it. There is a lot in here. It's exploring this idea that I find fascinating, and a few other authors have explored it of, sure, people are scared of AI because of the whole AI is going to take over the world, but AI is made by humanity, and what if AI is just like humanity, and that some of them just want to make noodles, or some of them just want to hang out. They don't want to take over the world. They just want to exist and find connection. There's a type of, it kind of explores the idea of what love between AI would look like in a very light touch. And it was very good. It was a fun book. I then went on to pick up the newest Cowboy Colony book, which is Wanted by the Alien Warden. These are fun. If you like sort of the alien romance thing, like Ice Planet Barbarians, I highly recommend this series. Most of this is hilarious not miscommunication, but learning each other. So this series follows a colony on a planet where these alien men all live, and their empire has entered a trade agreement with humanity on this station where brides will be shipped down to the colony to be with these men. The women have to sign up for it. It's advertised. It's like a mail order bride situation. And the humans have one woman on the station curating this, and there are wardens at each district area of the planet who maintain the men, take care of the men, that sort of thing. This one is about the woman from the station who was signing the women up and sending them down, and the warden for that area. There is some information that both parties didn't have. She finds that information out and comes to the planet to check on her women, her brides that she sent down because she feels responsible. And while she's there, she meets the warden, and they fall in love. There is always a gimmick in these, and by gimmick I mean there's like one miscommunication thing that's hilarious. In this one, the miscommunication is he doesn't understand pajamas. And they call pajamas like I think I counted. It was like 10 different things he calls pajamas. And you would think after the first two, you run out of ways to say pajamas. But no, there's more. It was very cute. It was very funny. I greatly enjoyed this. It had me giggling the whole way through. I will continue to read these because they are so relaxing to read. I think the newest one comes out. I think there's another one coming out at the end of the month or next month. Whatever. If you like the Ice Planet Barbarian stuff, pick that up. It's fantastic. Now, after that, I don't have anything written down because honestly, that's about the time when things went for me. When things went to Bad Town. So let's see. I think that was recently. Yes. So I also read The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. I'm on the blog tour for this. I made some posts yesterday and posted them. And this is a romantasy about a young girl who is on the run. She lives in this kingdom where they hunt down and they kill fairy folk, magical folk of any type, and she's a halfling. She's half fae, as far as she knows. She doesn't know her family. She just knows she's half fae. She has pointed ears and a mark on her chest. She's running. They catch her, and at the beginning of the novel, we're expecting her to get hanged because that's what happens. They kill them. The general commander, he's very high up in this army, comes to check her out. She assumes it's so he can watch her execution, but that's not what happens. He instead breaks her free and they go on the run, and she ends up running across her little kingdom area into a neighboring kingdom. We find out there's a prophecy, there's a fire prince, a water prince, she has powers. You know the plot. It's romantasy. I really did like this though, even though it was a bit, is the word I want derivative? It was very much like every other fantasy. We even had a character named Soren. There's always a character named Soren, and there's always a fire prince. That's just how it is. If they're not the same person, they're both in there. We had that. But I did like it because it did take a lean into the grittier. We saw things we don't normally see in romantasy, I think, that I've seen, honestly. I don't read as much of it as some folks. So I enjoyed this. The last 40 to 50% of it I found a bit stale because we had stopped our journey. We had no more, fights with giant centipede monsters, which was one of my favorite scenes. So they were in a city, they were fine. But I ended up really liking this one. I don't know if I'll continue the series. We'll see. I'll give it a shot. It depends on if I can get my hands on a cheap copy or the arc of it. But it wasn't bad. I do recommend it if you like ACOTAR and other romantasy. It could definitely be one that you would enjoy. I also read, and I left it laying up on the floor, the 5th volume of Kimetsu Academy, which is sort of a spinoff of Demon Slayer. It follows their descendants, but it's basically them in a modern day school. We have the primary 3, of course, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro. They are students, but we also get stories about all the Hashira who are either nearby, like Mitsuri is a college student who works at the pizza shop nearby, or the Hashiras are actual teachers at the school. So we get all of them in there. And even some of the demons show up as side characters. And it's just fun. It's just little short stories of all these people having these funny interactions. And this one continues that, of course. We get a lot with some of the teachers like Rengoku. Mitsuri's in this one a lot because, she's on the cover. There is also a lot with, is it Saname? This guy over here, the white-haired guy, I can never remember his name. There's a lot with them, and those are like some of the ones I really like the most. So, and a lot with Tengen, the Make It Flamboyant. He's the art teacher. I recommend this series if you like Demon Slayer and if you want something fun and light and fresh. It's just an easy read. Two more. Let's go ahead and knock this one out because it's sitting here and I'm afraid it's gonna fall. I finished today Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna van Veen. She also wrote My Darling Dreadful Thing, right? Yes, My Darling Dreadful Thing, which I have not read, and I'm going to read now. It's got cool blood sprayed edges. Picked this up on a whim, complete whim, at Walmart. I read 2 to 3 pages while I was waiting on somebody, and I was like, oh no, I have to read this. And I did. I read it and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I had to read it, and I blew through it in less than 12 hours. It's freaking great. I really like this. This is following Lucy, who gets a letter that her sister Sarah is suffering from some sort of disease. She gets 2 letters. In fact, she gets the letter from Sarah's husband who is saying, please come take care of your sister. She gets a letter from Sarah, and the letter from Sarah is disturbing, to say the least. It is one of the first things you read. This opens with, part 1 opens with the letter to Lucy from her sister, and then following that, it has a letter from Sarah's husband to Lucy, and you're like, what is going on? We get that story here. There are excerpts from my journal, from letters, things like that, but it is primarily Lucy's point of view. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to say about this without spoiling it. It is vampiric of a kind. There are a kind of like a vampire creature. It's gothic, it's dark. There is a lot of gore and horror in this. Do not read this if eyeballs make you squeamish. Real fixation on the eyeballs in this. Let me tell you what. A lot of popping. This is just, it's good. Man, I really liked it. I don't know what to say without spoiling it. So Lucy stays with Sarah and takes care of her through this illness that gets worse and worse and worse. It stops. It gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and it's just wild. No one in this is likable. You feel bad, or you actively despise everyone, and it just, I couldn't put it down. I could not put it down. I wish I could tell you why, but I absolutely ate this up. I started putting annotations in it because I couldn't handle it, and they're not intelligent. Let me just throw that out there. Anytime I say I annotate something, unless it's a nonfiction book that I'm actually taking notes, if it's a fiction book, it's me just reacting. For example, the eye itself had burst like a soft-boiled egg. That's all you need to know. My annotations just say, wow, wow, oh, wow. Like, can you see that? Can you see that? Move my head. That's it. That's my annotation style, and that's all this was. Just me going, oh, no, stop that. Don't do that. Don't let him do that. If you like horror, if you like gothic, vampiric sort of horror, if you like weird girl lit, give this a shot. I have not read her other book. I plan to read it now. This just, I ate it up. And finally, the last thing I read, I finished right before I started that, is War Song by Michael, I think is his name. This is a short novella, 87 pages, and it is a prequel novella to The Price of Power, which I'm reading now. He re-released a second edition of The Price of Power, and I'm on the ARC team, so I need to read it and get it reviewed. I should hopefully be talking to you about it next week. And War Song follows a man who is part of a colonized and beat down class of people. He's sitting in the tavern, drinking with his friends, talking about these people, and bad things happen. He ends up in a slavery sort of situation, working in a mine, and it is the beginning of a rebellion that leads into the Price of Power, in which we see the descendants of that rebellion and how they are living now, they're going through now, that sort of a thing. This is brutal, and this is grimdark. If you want grimdark, if you like blood and gore, 87 pages of it right here. My only complaint about this, is an entirely personal thing. I am highly sensitive to harm to children. I am a mother of a small child, and there is a scene in here where there is a very heavily implied sexual abuse of a child going on, getting ready to go on, that is not stopped, and it felt like too much. Considering everything leading up to it, and then everything after, I think it was too much. I think it crossed a line into gratuitous. It was my only problem with this, was just too much. Too much. We didn't need that. We had a lot of examples of how terrible these people were and the things they were doing already, and we got even more afterwards. That was not needed. That was absolutely not needed. So that's my real only complaint, is that it got a little gratuitous at one point. Didn't like it. Besides that, I did enjoy everything that happened. Dude, somebody ripped another person's throat out with their teeth. It's a lot. They aren't a vampire. They just did it because they were told to. So if you like grimdark, this is for you. I will be finishing The Price of Power in the next day or two, and probably have a review up on the Instagram and the blog and here within the week. So look for that if you are interested. That is everything that I have read in the past 2 weeks. Hopefully, next week will be more normal. Fingers crossed for that. As far as what I am currently reading, like I said, I'm reading The Price of Power. I am also planning on picking up the next Dawn to Dawn, which I think for me is volume 7. My husband bought that for me. And then I believe I'm going to pick up either Never Keep by the Twisted Sisters, because I have a copy of that, or The Third Husky and His White Cat, which is sitting here over here looking at me. But that is it. Let me know what y'all have read. Update me down below if you have any thoughts, anything you want to read, any of these you want to read and try, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I'll be back next week. Bye.